Hi guys, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 20. I can't believe it's the 20th of December already. This month has absolutely flown by. It's been a lot of fun doing these videos and coming up with like new video ideas and new content for my channel. So I've really enjoyed doing it, and I can't believe I only have like 5 more videos to film. There's so much I still want to film, so there is going to be a lot of continuation of some of these series into like the new year. Like the collections videos are definitely going to continue because I have so many more collections of books that I need to get through for you guys. But yeah, today I thought I'd do a little bit of a different video and talk about some nonfiction books that I want to read. I don't read a ton of nonfiction, and part of this is because I studied history at university, so I read a ton of nonfiction. I'm actually applying for my master's right now to study history further, so it's not something I do a lot for pleasure. Most of my reading that I talk about on this channel is pleasurable reading that I choose to read for myself. And I used to read a lot of this before I went to university, and I kind of got out of the habit because I was reading so much of it for university that when it came time to pick books for myself, I read a lot of fiction books because it was, you know, different and it gave me a chance to take a break from it. But I have like 6 books here that I want to get through. Some of them history, some of them not, and I thought I would share them with you. So the first one is Richard Barber's Edward III and the Triumph of England. This is in these really nice orange spine like history books that Penguin has been putting out. I'm a big fan of British history, even though it's not actually what I study. I study Renaissance Italian violence, if that makes sense to anybody. I look at like things like vendetta and, you know, gendered violence and things like that, mostly specifically to Italy and Rome in the Renaissance. I'm particularly fond of looking at the period called Vacancy, which is between the death of one pope and the election of another, which is a really lawless time in Rome. So I kind of want to get back to my roots and read some British history. So I thought that this would be a good one. I do like Edward III. I find his time period particularly fascinating, kind of like the re-renaissance of the Plantagenet kings, like recalling the glory days of Henry II. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. Next up is another history one and another one of those orange spines ones, and this is Vanished Kingdoms, The History of Half-Forgotten Europe by Norman Davies. This basically just looks at kingdoms that kind of came and went really quickly and most people don't know about, so I think that sounds really fascinating. This is a brick though, so I think this is one that I would dip in and out of as I was reading it. One that I'm curious about, and now I do have a classical literature background, I'm not sure how useful this is going to be, and that is Richard Jenkins' A Pelican Introduction to Classic Literature. I've talked about this on the channel before. I kind of want to read it to see if I can recommend it as a good place to start for classical literature to those of you who didn't have the luxury of being able to study it at university, but I just keep putting it off. So I think, because I'm not going to be studying classics for my master's, I think I will get to this sooner rather than later, whereas history I will always study. Along the same line, and another one I've talked about on this channel, is The Mighty Dead, Why Homer Matters by Adam Nicholson. And this looks at the importance of classic literature and the effects that it's had on today. I think that this is also really interesting. I picked this up as soon as it came out in Canada. And yeah, it also has a slightly shiny cover, which you can kind of see the reflection there. I know Elizabeth, after I posted my Pretty Books gift guide, she was like, I need all my books to be shiny. And I have to agree with her. Shiny books are pretty great. But that's not the reason why I want to read this. I just think that this is a fascinating topic, and I love the intertextuality of how like classical lit influences modern lit. This is something that I've been fascinated with since my first year of university when I took a class called The Transformations in Ancient Literature, and basically we would look at an ancient lit text and then we would look at a modern text that was influenced by it and whether or not, you know, some of them were stretches, some of them weren't. So yeah, I would find that really interesting. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Another one, which will come as no surprise for you, and I've had on my shelf for far too long, and that is A Truth Universally Acknowledged, 33 Reasons Why We Can't Stop Reading Jane Austen, which is edited by Susanna Carson. This is a collection of essays on why people love Jane Austen. So you guys know I'm a huge Jane Austen fan, so I really want to read this. I did try and read, actually, I think it was my first video ever on this channel, Among the Janeites by Deborah Yamf. I might be mispronouncing things or getting names wrong. To be fair, it's been like 3 years and I don't own the book anymore, and it looked at like the Jane Austen culture, but I think that this more looks at like the literary stuff, so I'm really interested in that. Next up is Wild Hares and Hummingbirds, The Natural History of an English Village by Stephen Moss. I really like these kind of books, although I don't read them very often, and I kind of got attracted to them by reading Watership Down. These kind of naturalistic, looking at the world from kind of, you know, a more, I don't even know the word for it. I'm kind of blanking here on it, but like more of a, you know, environmentally way, and like I love animals, so I'm really curious about this and seeing, especially because I live in like a kind of rural area, so I do see a lot of small animals, like we have coyotes, we have foxes, we have bears, we actually have mountain lions, so we have a lot, actually we have a lot of wildlife where I live. Deer are a constant threat. I am not overly fond of deer. I'm sorry to anybody who loves Bambi, but I was actually in a car accident with a deer, which was entirely not my fault, in that the deer ran into the side of my car and just, it was horrifying. One of the most horrifying experiences I've ever had to be through, like live through. So I am not overly fond of deer committing suicide on my car. But yes, I do like this kind of book, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this one because it's been on my shelf for far too long. So yes. Those are some nonfiction books that I'm looking to read, and I think especially given that I'm going to lower my Goodreads challenge, I should have more time to read some nonfiction. I find nonfiction takes me a lot longer than fiction. Fiction, I kind of get engrossed in the story, whereas nonfiction, I'm constantly wanting to take notes, and I think that's the historian in me coming out. But yes. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Comment down below if there's any nonfiction books that you guys like, or if you have any recommendations, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 21. Bye.